In the heart of Umudara, there lived a woman whose name was often said but rarely remembered. Adaora. The beautiful and intelligent Adaora. To the people, she was like the gentle breeze, always there but never making a sound. She kept her head low, working tirelessly from sunrise to sunset, so her husband Nnaemeka could stand tall and proud. Adaora asked for nothing in return. She was happy to be unseen, to let her husband shine. He was famous, strongest wrestler in their clan, whom all the other wrestlers respected and feared greatly. But her father-in-law, the wise old Mazi Obuefi, saw her strength. "Ah, this Adaora," he would say, "is more than she appears." He would praise her openly, called her the backbone of her family. In a place where women were often expected to stay in the kitchen, raising children and serving meals, it was rare for a woman like Adaora to be seen as a reason behind a household success. Yet Adaora kept her peace, kept to the background, quiet and humble. She was not the one to seek the eye of others, and so life continued in Umudara, steady as a drumbeat. But change was coming, a shift like a rumble of thunder from distant skies, because even the strongest tree, if left unnoticed, might one day fall, shaking the earth beneath it. And so it will be for Adaora. What does fate hold for this quiet woman, who carried so much and asked for so little? What would happen if the shadows she lived in began to fade? The people of Umudara could never have guessed, but they will soon find out. Yes, Adaora's story was only just beginning. Adaora and Nnaemeka had built a life together, their love growing stronger over 20 years of marriage. They met as young lovers, dreaming of the future, and now with 5 beautiful grown-up children, they remained youthful and full of laughter. Hey! Oh, how Adaora would say, "I have labored long enough." Adaora thought with pride, "Now is my time to rest, Biko, to enjoy the fruits of my labor with my beloved husband." But amid her joy, something was about to change. What awaited her soon? The village of Umudara would witness a transformation that would change everything. Not long after, whispers began to swirl around Umudara, whispers that carried news too shocking for many to believe. Nnaemeka, Adaora's husband, had fathered a son with another woman, a concubine named Ifeyinwa. For Adaora and her family, this news was like a storm from the clear sky, disturbing and painful. But in Umudara, the truth is hard to hide. It was tradition for the village town crier, Obumneke, to announce the birth of any male child born to a man of note. A man like Nnaemeka, with his loud gong and solemn voice, "Come, come, 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 oh!" The villagers were furious, heartbroken, and above all, hungry for Adaora's reaction. How could this happen to her? Hey! The loyal wife who had always lived in the shadows of her husband. They wanted answers, and they needed them now. And Adaora too had only heard of this betrayal through the echoing call of the town crier, Obumneke. The shock was so great that rumors spread quickly. Adaora had been rushed to the village hospital after suffering a panic attack from the sudden blow of this news. The people of Umudara waited. They prayed for her recovery, hoping she would find strength to stand up and expose Nnaemeka's cruelty. They wanted her to reveal his secrets, how he had treated her poorly in their marriage, how he had raised his hand against her in the silence of the night. Let her come out and disgrace him, they thought. Let her give him the shame he deserves. But Adaora was a different woman, one of quiet wisdom and patience. She said nothing, not a single word. When she went to the market or to the stream, villagers would stop her, sympathizing with her, asking if the news was true. And each time, Adaora remained silent. She didn't confront her husband. She did not bash him. Neither did she lash out at Ifeyinwa, her rival. She was calm, her emotions steady. Silence unsettled them. And soon, the villagers began to talk and whisper in gossip. Maybe she was the problem. Maybe she pushed him to this. Maybe it's her fault. Perhaps she wronged him first. If she was so good as she portrays, why would Nnaemeka go elsewhere to bear a child? She is the problem. She is the problem. But Adaora had made a choice. A choice no one expected. A choice that will soon leave the entire village in awe. In the heart of Umudara, the villagers held their breath, still waiting for Adaora to speak someday. After the betrayal, many expected her to cry out, to condemn her husband, or to walk away. But instead, she surprised them all. At the women's monthly meeting, she finally broke her silence. Her voice was calm but firm. She said, "I believe that mistakes are a part of human existence. It's our responses to these mistakes that define us. For me, forgiveness is the highest form of love. Without forgiveness, there is no love. And without love, there is no peace." The hall was silent. You could even hear a pin drop. Everyone was listening intently. Adaora went on, her words filled with clarity and strength. "Anyone can choose the path of polygamy," she said. "But I cannot be forced to accept what was never part of our agreement. Tradition may uphold it, but my own choice is different. My decision to forgive my husband is for my peace and strength. But I will stand firm in my beliefs." With these words, Adaora transformed from the quiet, humble wife into a pillar of resilience, a woman who knew her own mind and would not stray from it. The villagers were left in awe, unable to decide whether to praise her wisdom or to question her resolve. But one thing was certain: Adaora's strength had made its mark. She had shown Umudara what it meant to stand by one's beliefs, and the village would not soon forget the power of her words, nor the strength of her spirit. Adaora was willing to accept this mistake. She was ready to forgive her husband's betrayal, to continue with the man who had broken her heart. She accepted that Nnaemeka, her old dogo, had welcomed a sixth child into the world with another woman. That evening, after the women's meeting, news of her decision had spread like wildfire. People whispered her name with admiration and surprise, and the village was abuzz with curiosity. Adaora returned home and called for a family meeting, gathering both her own family and her in-laws. She wanted to break the news to them herself to show that her forgiveness was sincere. When everyone was gathered, including Nnaemeka, Adaora took a deep breath and knelt down before him. Her voice was subtle. Adaora said, "My dear husband, you have hurt me deeply," she said. "But I accept it. I forgive you. Please come back home. Let us work together and fix what has been broken." But to everyone's shock, Nnaemeka's face remained unmoved. He looked at Adaora. his voice firm as he said, "No, I am not coming back home alone. You must accept Ifeyinwa as well. I want both of you as my wives. You have done me no wrong, but I am an African man, and our culture and tradition allows me to have more than one wife." Adora's heart sank. Tears filled her eyes as she looked at him, struggling to understand. "Hold on," she said with her voice breaking. "This was not the plan. We struggled together through these years to build this life, to raise our family." But Nnaemeka's mind was set. He insisted on his decision, leaving Adaora shattered. Their families tried to reason, but his resolve would not budge. And so the meeting ended with heavy hearts, and Adaora returned home, the weight of betrayal even heavier than before, while Nnaemeka traveled back to the neighboring village to be with his concubine, Ifeyinwa. After that shattering family meeting, Adaora held her silence. She did not move to divorce Nnaemeka, nor did she confront him again. She remained quiet, watching, hoping that perhaps somehow things would take a turn for the better. She held on to hope, even as the weight of the pain threatened to pull her under. But in the midst of all of this trouble, life dealt Adaora another crushing blow. Her first son, Chinedu, a young man full of life, strength, and dreams, passed away suddenly. He was healthy, vibrant, and energetic, known for his determination to follow in his father's footsteps as a wrestler. On the day he died, he had gone to the farm with his friends to help with the harvest. It was said that while working, he suddenly complained of a headache. His friends assured him it was nothing, telling him to rest a bit before joining them again. But moments later, he collapsed. By the time help arrived, he was gone. Hey! The news struck the village like a thunderbolt. Adora's grief was unimaginable. She had endured betrayal, humiliation, and a heartbreak, but nothing compared to the pain of losing her firstborn. The entire village mourned with her, but no words could reach the depth of her sorrow. Adaora mourned deeply, her grief spilling into the days and stretching across months. Her once lively spirit was weighed down with sorrow, and her cries could often be heard from home, carried by the winds to the far reaches of Umudara. Villagers, moved by her pain, visited her often to offer condolences, sitting by her side in silent sympathy. As they gathered around her, Adaora would speak softly, her voice choked with emotion. She told them how her children had been her true strength, each one a light in her life. But Chinedu, her first son, was special. Adaora said, "He was my Lord." Tears streaming down her face. "He was my armor. He was my shield." In the Igbo tradition, first sons are given a special place in the family, often seen as protectors, as the future pillars of their households. And Chinedu had just been that to her. He had grown up with a strength and determination beyond his years, a young man who carried the hopes and dreams of his mother. "Chinedu was my strength," she whispered. "He gave me hope even in the darkest times. His laughter, his love, it was all the armor I needed." Her words hung heavy in the air, each one carrying the depth of her loss. The villagers felt her pain, understanding the irreplaceable role that Chinedu had played in her life. They knew that her grief would not simply pass with time. It would linger in her heart, a wound that no words could heal. Months had passed since the first family meeting Adaora had called. The one where she had pleaded with Nnaemeka to come home, to rebuild their life together. She had knelt before him, offering forgiveness, hoping he would return to her. But things had changed. That first meeting had left her heart shattered, and Nnaemeka's rejection had hardened with no resolve. Now she was calling another family meeting, but this time it was different. There would be no pleas, no request for reconciliation. This was a gathering of finality, a decision she would announce with the strength she had found within herself. Welcome to Heartfelt African Stories. I hope you all enjoyed the story we've just shared. It was quite a ride, wasn't it? Make sure you stayed glued for part 2, because it's definitely going to blow your minds. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell so you're the first to know when it drops. Thank you for being here and see you soon. Bye-bye.